welcome back to English classes with me, Anwesha ma'am. And I hope Juna jar 12 or exam asile, English or exam asile, tumalokor exam bhal hoise. Aru kyo guess korisu, aru june more video saisila, tumalokor sage olop holo help hoise because moi video dia questions or pora comment ahise. And I'm very happy about that. I hope tumalokor help hoise. Paper was quite easy, june thoroughly pohi goisila. And june bhalke scheming kori pohisala, I guess tumalokor exam to bhal hoise. So since our exam our English main to our English to bhal hoi gol, so now it's time for alternative English also. Jar already ase আজি etu eta class korim. This class will be only for the 2025 question paper. 2025 ot jekhon question paper ahisile alternative English or আজি আমি হে গুটে পেপার খন সলভ করিম. ওকে, প্রিভিয়াস ইয়ার কোশ্চেন পেপার আমি 2025 খন আজি আমি সলভ করিম. এন্ড কমন কোয়েশ্চনস কিছু মানু মই কই দিম আৰু সব বহুতৰ এসেৰ কাৰণেও প্ৰবলেম হৈ যায়. তো এসেৰ কাৰণেও কিনোকা টাইপৰ আহিব পাৰে সেই বস্তুটো মই অলপমান কৈ দিম. এন্ড কালি মই আৰু এটা ক্লাস কৰিম. সো এটো ক্লাস জনে জয়েন কৰিবা. কালি ক্লাসটো পাৰিলে জয়েন কৰিবা. বেছি দীঘল নহয়, টেক আ ব্রেক, 1 ঘন্টা 2 ঘন্টাৰ ব্রেক এটা লবা, বুকৰ পৰা ওলাবা, হেতু চাবা. বিকজ কালিৰ ক্লাসটোত মই যিমান গিটা চ্যাপ্টাৰস আছে, prose, poetry, grammar সব বৰে পৰা গুটে গিটা চ্যাপ্টাৰৰ পৰা কমন কোৱেশ্চনস মই দিম. কেনেকুৱা টাইপৰ কোৱেশ্চনস আহিব পাৰে, কেনেকুৱা কোৱেশ্চনস আহিব, কেনেকুৱা আহি আছে, গুটেখিনি আমি কালিৰ ক্লাসটোতো গম পাম. সো লেটস বিগিন সলভিং 2025 কোৱেশ্চন পেপাৰ. সো আমাৰ কোৱেশ্চন পেপাৰ খনত 4টা সেকশন আহে, আমি গম পাও. ঠিক আছে, 4টা সেকশনৰ প্ৰথম 40 মাৰ্কছৰ প্ৰোজৰ আহে, 30 মাৰ্কছৰ দেন আমাৰ পোয়েট্ৰি ফালৰ পৰা আহে. আৰু প্ৰত্যেকটোতে মই কৈ দিও প্ৰোজটো 1 মাৰ্ক কোৱেশ্চনস, 2 মাৰ্ক কোৱেশ্চনস, 3 মাৰ্কস আৰু 5 মাৰ্কস এনেকুৱা টাইপত ভাগে ভাগে আহে. যেটো মানে 40 মাৰ্কছৰ যিখিনি কম্বাইন্ড হৈ আছে. ওকে, আৰু পোয়েট্ৰিটো সেম তেনেকে 1 মাৰ্ক, 2 মাৰ্ক, 3 মাৰ্কস তেনেকুৱা টাইপত ভাগ হৈ মেলি বিলি টোটাল 30 মাৰ্কছৰ পোয়েট্ৰিৰ পৰা আহিব. গ্ৰামাৰৰ পৰা 10 মাৰ্কস আহিব, 5 মাৰ্কস বেলেগ, 5 মাৰ্কস বেলেগ. আৰু হেৰিয়াৰ পৰা আহিব তোমাৰ কম্পোজিশন আহিব আৰু এখন এসে আহিব. ঠিক আছে, কম্পোজিশনটো কম্প্ৰিহেনশনটো পাৰিবা. কম্প্ৰিহেনশনৰ পৰা 10 মাৰ্কস আহিব, যেটো প্যাৰাগ্ৰাফ দিব আগতো কৈছো ভালকে পঢ়িবা, পুৰা স্কিম কৰি পঢ়িবা, and marks is yours. So the first part is prose. First section to amar prose section to ahe, aru prose section to amar yate ki disse pasta jikono question amak koribo disse. Each question is of 1 mark. Ta amak 8ta question dia hoise, gutei bilak attempt kori belai time waste nokoriba because only pasta jehetu koribo disse to ami any 5 e korim. গুটেখিনি জানিলেও লিখি লাভ নাই because it's a waste of time. যোন গিটাত কনফিডেন্স থাকিব অকল হেগিটা হে এটেম্প্ট কৰিবা. এনেকুৱা নহয় যে 4টাত কনফিডেন্স আছে অকল 4টা কৰিছো. নো, 5টা দিছে 5টা এটেম্প্ট কৰিবা, বাট যোন গিটা বেছি মানে লাইক হেৰি থাকে হেগিটা. Now what is the cost of the enamel box that Rosemary wanted to buy? কিমান আছিলে? $23 queenies. Okay, কিমান আছিলে? 23 মিলি আছিলে. মই ব্র্যাকেটত লিখি দিও. তাৰ পিছত আছিলে which Russian author influenced Catherine Manfield? Catherine Manfieldৰ কোনজনে ইনফ্লুয়েন্স কৰিছিলে? Anton Chekhov. এতিয়া এখিনি যে মই আনসারস খিনি দি আছো, make sure you guys take a pen, take a copy, note it down, write it down. Okay, গুটেখিনি ভালকে লিখি ৰাখি থোৱা because যদি questions একিটা repeat হয় then it will help you. Okay, etu titia help hobo. So make sure you take out a paper or a pen and help it. Okay, now what was the name of the airport situated in Guwahati 1949? Amar jitu Borjhar airport tu বৰ্তমানৰ যেটো বৰঝাৰ এয়াৰপোৰ্টটো, সেই এয়াৰপোৰ্টটো আমাৰ আগতে কাহিকুচি বুলি আছিল. আছে চেপ্টাৰটো দি থোৱা আছে বাট ষ্টিল দিয়ে দিছো যেতিয়া মই যেহেতু ইয়াতে অলৰেডি লিখি দিছো so better note it down মনত থাকি যাব and then it will help you okay then what did Hazarika consider to be his only aim Bhupen Hazarikar aim ki asile to be a singer ঠিক আছে to be a singer was his only aim Bhupen Hazarikar only aim ki asile to be a singer then is what the Rama gave free with every item Rama ki disile free he gave chutney obviously ami jeta kobat kiba khabo jao fast food or whatever it is we also love a free chutney right so he gave free chutney with everything with every item okay then what type of house is bina kutir বিনা কুটিৰটো কি টাইপৰ হাউস হয় যদি খুধে তেতিয়া আমি কি লিখিব লাগিব বিনা কুটিৰ ইজ এ ট্ৰেডিশনেল Assamese style house okay traditional Assamese style house যদি কোনোবাই কিবা বুজি নোপোৱা প্লিজ সুধিবা যাতে তোমালোকৰ ডাউটস খিনি মই লগালগ ক্লিয়াৰ কৰি দিব পাৰো then which band is mentioned in the story কাৰ ব্যান্ড কোনটো মেনশন কৰা আছিল বিনা কুটিৰত one of my favorite Mercedes Benz okay বিনা কুটিৰ যেটো ষ্টৰীটো তাত কোনটো কাৰ ব্ৰেণ্ডৰ আছিল Mercedes Benzৰ আছিল okay then let's go to the next jibilak ase question 2 marks or question khini chai law okay there is a oh, so sorry about it eta mistake eta hoi goise let me quickly mark it etu jitu box asile a box to 23 নহয় it was 28 okay 23 নহয় 28 হয় don't make the mistake মোৰ ভুল হৈ গৈছে I'm very sorry guys 23 নহয় 28 হয় okay then now হৈ যায় কেতিয়াবা ভুল it's okay fine anyways I corrected it now on what occasion did the verger use his new gown নতুন গাউন বিলাক তেওঁ কিহত ইউজ কৰিছিল ভাৰ্জাৰজন আছিল so Albert Albert Edward Foreman Junjon Berger asile he used his new gowns coat use hoisile only in important ceremonies like weddings funerals okol henukwa type or jibur important asile important ceremonies he teo attend korisile okol hebilakothe teo nijor new gown to use korisile okay there is one more doubt let me just quickly clear the doubt maybe that was also wrong let me just quickly correct it because bhul hole piso tumalokor exam on bhul hobo and that will be my mistake I don't want you guys to face any problems because of me so let me just check হা এইটো কাৰ ব্ৰেণ্ডটো ভুলকে আহিছে মোৰ তাত সো সৰি গাইজ তো ফোর্ড হব আৰু ক'ত গ'ল এমাৰেল বক্সটো এইটো 28 হব বাকি মেনফিল আছিলে বাকি ঠিক है so this will be 28 and this will be 4 okay don't make the mistakes I made a mistake I don't know why this is happening with me ठीक है asile but somehow I messed it up so don't worry now it's clear let's come back etu important occasions at pinhisile okol then what business did Albert Foreman set up and where তেওঁ কি কৰিছিলে news agent to asile okay let me check যদিও মই আনসারটো লিখিছো still মই এটো রিচেক কৰি আছো because now I am having doubts on my own self মোৰ নিজৰ ওপৰতে ডাউট হৈ আছে I don't want you guys to face problems so Albert Foreman কি বিজনেস সেটআপ কৰিছিলে and কোড কৰিছিলে he was এটো ঠিকে লিখিছো বাৰু tobacconist and news agent নিউজ এজেন্ট আছিলে আৰু কোড কৰিছিলে তেওঁ সেটআপ পৰ্যায়টো হা এটো কৰিছিলে streets of লণ্ডনৰ ষ্ট্ৰীটছত তেওঁ এটো বিজনেস সেটআপ কৰিছিলে then what did Rama have to move or why did Rama have to move his stall to 100 yards away কিয় কৰিব লগা হৈছিলে because যিটো স্পটত হি আছিলে was declared as a holy spot okay holy spot বুলি declare কৰিছিলে or Matrix corner and this was to build a stone memorial for a political leader holy spot কৰিছিলে আৰু কিহৰ কাৰণে to build a stone memorial for a political leader okay why did Rama had to move his stall বহুত দূৰলৈকে কিয় কৰিছিলে because এই স্পটটোক holy spot হিচাপে ডিক্লেয়াৰ কৰি দিছিলে কিয় কৰিছিলে to build a stone memorial for a political leader that's why he had to move his okay you asked about Bhupen Hazarika na yeah surely I'll also check that and clear the doubts because duta question first question or ki boli ka 1 mark question duta mur wrong hoy goisile etu mo aru ekbar check kori dim if there is any kind of doubt please ask me moi shuddho kori dim I don't want you guys to lose marks because of me but ekita question shuddho kori aso etia lage answers are very like correct so please note this down after this 2 marks questions is finished I will go back to that question and make sure it's right or wrong okay why did Rama have to move tea stall ami gom palu ki karone asile aru Albertor business ki asile hetu gom palu aru Berger kihot pinisile important events ot pinisile next what did Rama's wife do upon his arrival at night ki korisile Rama's wife would take his equipments from him retrieve the cloth bag of money hanging from his neck and immediately count the day's earnings ki korisile Rama's wife ki korisile take his cloth bag and count the days money. So what did Rama's wife do upon arriving? Rama jeta ghor goi pai wife e ki kore? She immediately takes the cloth bag and starts counting the money he earned in the day. ঠিক আছে, এটো আমি গম পালো. Then আহি গ'ল where from had the tree witcher come? কৰ পৰা আহিছিলে? From east endৰ পৰা আহিছিলে. Okay, east endৰ পৰা আহিছিলে. How does Catherine Manfield's portray marriage in A Cup of Tea? কেনেকে কৰে? Marriage as superficial, then rooted in হেৰি তাৰপিছতে কি বৰে Rosemary felt marriage lacks deep emotion and connection in and is characterized by materialism and husband's stable control over his wife. That's why she portrays marriage as superficial, transactional, very important, transactional, and rooted in social status. Because her own marriage life was not good, okay, her husband was very controlling over her. That's why she portrays marriage as superficial, transactional, and rooted in social status. Name of two locations that Bhupen Hazarika reminisces about in Voyage. Duta asile, ki asile? Bharalumukh and হেৰি Ujan Bajar. Where is it? Okay. Bharalumukh and Ujan Bajar. Duta asile aru egita asile. So if you guys have not noted this down, take a screenshot of this. Okay, take a screenshot of the screen and the answers will be there. Aru jitu question hudisila, let me check again hey question 2 if that question was wrong, probably. Let me check. Na, that question was not wrong. Okay, this question jitu moi koisilu Bhupen Hazarikar jitu heriar kotha kolu moi, where is it? What was his aim? Bhupen Hazarika's one and only aim to be a singer asile, to be a singer and change society. Their aim এটোই asile jodi konobai code to kode that at that time code to ahibo. Then we are done with the 1 mark. We are done with the 2 marks questions. Jone questions kita answer to likha nai, go back in the video and then write it down. Now it is time for the 3 marks question. 3 marks question duta ahibo. You can solve any one if you want. Jun gita monjai hegita tumaloke solve koriba pariba. First question is, write a short note on Manfield as a short story writer. Eta Manfield or short story writer hisabe likhibo dise to. তো ইয়াতে মই কুৱেশ্যনৰ আনসাৰটো যেহেতু ইয়াতে মই ইমানখিনি লিখি দিব নোৱাৰো বিকজ ইট এটলিষ্ট 3 মাৰ্কছৰ কুৱেশ্যন হয় তো এটলিষ্ট এটো 50 words or more হবই লাগিব all the answers but I am reciting okay মই এতিয়া এটো কৈ দিম এটো মেনফিলৰ যেটো শৰ্ট ষ্টৰীটো আনসাৰটো মই কৈ দি আছো if you want note it down or else মই slowly come so that you can go back in the video and then listen to the answer and just write it down okay Catherine Manfield is a prominent modernist short story writer she is celebrated for her deep psychological insight and innovative style. Catherine Manfield is a prominent short story writer and she is celebrated for her deep psychological insight and innovative style. Instead of focusing on elaborate plots, her writing emphasizes on mood, atmosphere, and the inner lives. Okay? This is a very important point if somebody asks you about Manfield. Kihot focus kore? She does not focus on longer elaborate plots. Rather, she focuses on the mood of the plot, of the atmosphere of the story, and the inner lives of the people who are in the stories. Okay? Then she is known for using lyrical proses, delicate imaginary and a stream of consciousness to capture complex human emotions and moments of epiphany. Okay, she wants to capture very like complex human emotions and she uses lyrical proses to portray those emotions. Her famous works include The Garden Party and The Doll's House. Okay, so দুটা famous মই কৈ দিছো কি আছে the famous works include The Garden Party and The Doll's House. For 3 marks, if you write at least the points which I said to you right now, if you at least write those things properly, you will be getting 3 marks. Okay. The next question is, what did Hazarika feel upon reaching New York? What did he feel? Upon arriving in New York City, Bhupen Hazarika, don't just write Hazarika, okay? Because he is Bhupen Hazarika, no? So write the full name. Although it is given only Hazarika in the question, still write the full name. Upon arriving in New York City, Bhupen Hazarika was struck by the city's vastness and vibrancy because he went from a small town to a small place like Guwahati. At that time, Guwahati did not look how it looks right now. Okay, it was very different, right? And New York is a very different kind of a city. So when he went from Guwahati to New York, he was struck. He just looked at. He was struck by the city's vastness and the vibrancy, including its towering skyscrapers. Important. You have to write this. Kiki. The towering skyscrapers and the bustling streets. Busy streets. Okay. However, he also experienced a deep sense of loneliness and alienation. Why he felt alienation? Because he was a stranger in that city, right? He just went there and there were so many people but he was alone in that city. So he had a deep sense of loneliness and alienation. The unfamiliar environment and fast-paced life highlighted a significant cultural gap. Very, very important, and it is also an important theme of the Voyager. Okay, the unfamiliar environment and not Voyager, sorry, voyage. Unfamiliar environment and fast-paced life highlighted a significant cultural gap between the city and his homeland. Obviously, there is a huge cultural gap between Guwahati and Guwahati city and New York. Okay, and his homeland, making him feel isolated despite the crowd. There was a huge crowd in New York City. Still, he felt isolated because of the cultural gap between New York and his hometown. Okay, then comes the other question. On the day of the christening, what did the verger compliment the new vicar on? কি বস্তুত কমপ্লিমেন্ট কৰিছিলে? On the day of the christening, the verger, who is Albert Edward Foreman, sincerely complimented the new vices on the dignified and beautiful manner in which he conducted the ceremony. The verger, Albert Foreman, Edward Foreman, sincerely complimented the new vicar on the dignified and beautiful manner in which he conducted the ceremony. He felt the vicar's style added a level of grace. He felt the vicar's style added a level of grace and solemnity to the occasion that impressed everyone present there. Okay, kihor uporot compliment korile? He complimented on the dignified and beautiful manner in which he conducted the ceremony, and he also added that the vicar's style added to the grace and solemnity of the celebration. Okay, that is question number 3 for us. Then let's come to question number 4. Why did Rama's customers like him? Why did Rama's customers like him? Rama's customer liked him primarily because his food was incredibly cheap. Okay, his food was incredibly cheap, and he treated them with honesty and friendship. Two most important points why Rama's customers liked him was, first of all, his food was really cheap, and second of all, he treated them with honesty and friendship. Additionally, they appreciated the freedom and trust he gave them, allowing them to personally pick up and examine the food items before buying them. Additionally, they appreciated the freedom and trust he gave them, allowing them to personally pick up and examine the food items before buying them. Okay, that's why Rama's customers liked him. The last question, why do you think the speaker imagined the daughter's name as Bina? The speaker in the story Bina Kutir, okay, the house was named after her, Bina Kutir, imagined the daughter's name was Bina because the old unoccupied Assamese type house had a Bina flowering plant. Okay, it's a flowering plant. It's like a creeper which was growing in its wooden scaffolds. Okay, ঠিক আছে? The unoccupied house had a Bina flower plant which was blooming. Because of that, the speaker thought that the daughter's name was Bina. Okay, the name was part of his imaginative speculation. Ki asile? The name was part of his imaginative speculations about the house and its history as he sat in the nearby shop. Okay, ki asile? Why did he think about it? Because it is his imaginative speculation about the house and the history of that house which he looked at by sitting in a nearby shop. Okay, here we only need to answer 2 of the questions. Okay, do not waste your time solving each and every question. If you know also, still only write 2 of them. We have solved each and every one. So if any one of these any one of these questions get repeated, it will be helpful for you. So if you have not written the answers down, go back in the video, listen to all the answers and try to note them down. After that, we have questions which are of 5 marks, and this section is for 10 marks. Okay, so here we have this type of questions may also come where you get two questions together and the marks is already divided. The first question is for 2 marks and the second one is of 3 marks, which allows you to think about the number of words you need to write per question. So that is also helpful. So now, first of all, let's answer the first one. Why was the verger asked to step down? Do you think this was a fair decision? Give reasons. Now, since this question is of 10 marks, okay, this question is of 5 marks, sorry, not 10 marks, 5 marks, you can divide it into paragraphs by adding a what to say, an introductory 2-3 lines, and then you can divide it into 2 parts, or you can also write it in one single paragraph also. But I would suggest you write it in 2 halves. First one including the answer for the first question, second one including the answer for the second one, and for this you have to give reason, okay, why you think it's yes or if no. I will be giving you both the question, both the answers, so listen carefully. Okay, first of all, in this story, Edward was asked to step down because the new vicar discovered that he was illiterate and could neither read nor write. Vergerক নমাই কিয় দিছিলে ভাইচাৰজনে? Because he was illiterate and he did not even know how to read or write. That's why he was asked to step down. Okay. The vicar believed that a verger at a fashionable church like St. Peter's should possess formal educational qualifications to handle administrative duties. Since administrative duties were under the verger, so the new vicar thinks that in a church as fashionable as St. Peter's deserves a new verger who is educated, okay, at least has the formal qualifications to handle the administrative duties. Okay, etu answer to palu. Now for this we have 2 answers. It's either yes or no, whatever you think, right? So if you think the decision was fair, you have to say yes and give the reason for that. If you think the decision is no, then also you have to give the reason. So if you think that that this was correct, then you have to write yes, and the reason will be from a purely administrative perspective. It was fair because the church required a staff member who could fulfill all modern job requirements, including literacy for record keeping. If you think this is yes, yes, the decision was fair because the church needed someone who is literate and who can or who will be able to keep up with the new job requirements or the modern requirements, okay, and including literacy, okay, the modern job requirements including literacy. For why do we need that thing? Because to keep record of the church. And then if you think no, the decision was not fair, okay, decision was not fair, then you have to write no from a humanitarian perspective. So if you are thinking from an administrative perspective, like practically, then you have to answer yes. If you are thinking it through a humanitarian way, then you have to give the answer as no. So if your answer is no, from a humanitarian perspective, it was unfair because Albert had served the church with dedication and excellence for 16 years without his literacy even being a hindrance to his work. Kyo unfair hoy? It is unfair because he has been in charge of the church for 16 years without his literacy being a, a problem or some kind of an issue in his work. That's why from that point of view it is unfair. But if you look at through an administrative perspective, it is fair because we need proper literacy for, sorry, the verger has to be properly literate to cope up with the new modern facilities and also to keep proper record of the church. So if it's yes, give reason. If it's no, give reasons. Okay, we have given the reasons for both yes and no. Okay, that was the first question for you all. Now let's come to the second question. Justify the title, the Martyrs Corner. So for that, the title of Arkanarayan's story is deeply ironic. Okay, the title is ironic. क्यों ironic है? It refers to a specific corner where a political leader was killed during a riot. Why it is ironic? Because at that thing, okay, at that this name refers to a place or a corner where a political leader was killed during a riot, leading to the area being declared a holy spot and a stone memorial being erected there. Okay, now literally martyr means, the title literally refers to the dead politician whom society glorifies. Then living, the the justification lies in the protagonist Rama. Okay, the irony is related to Rama, the main protagonist. After the riot and the subsequent memorial, Rama is forced to move his successful food stall, leading to him being getting suffered. Okay, first of all, ইয়াতে ইমান ধুনীয়াকে কোৱা আছে যে মাৰ্টিৰ কৰ্নাৰটো আমুক হয় কাৰবাৰ গ্লোৰিফিকেশ্যনৰ কাৰণে বনাইছে এণ্ড অল ডেট, বাট ইন দ্য সেম থিং সেইটো বনোৱাৰ কাৰণে ৰামাৰ লোকচান হৈছে. সো দ্যাট ইজ দি আইৰনি ইন দ্য নেম. Now that was second question for you all. Now let's have a look at the third question. Third question to hold, write a short note on the character of Miss Smith. Miss Smith কোন আছিলে? Miss Smith was that lady, okay, যাক জুনে ৰসলিনক help খুজিছিলে, and she is just treated like a tool kind of thing. Okay, a cup of tea তেওঁক use কৰা হৈছিলে. So in Catherine Manfield's A Cup of Tea, Miss Smith is a static character who represents the extreme poverty and vulnerability. Now she is a static, okay. Oh, good morning. Someone is saying good morning. Rahul, but hi, good morning. So since you guys maybe have just joined, if you have missed the later video, go back towards it. Okay, you can just have a look from the first. Okay, you guys can do that. Now Miss Smith was a static character. Okay, she is a static character who represents the extreme poverty. Okay, she represents extreme poverty and vulnerability of the working class in the 1920s London. Okay, what does she portray? She portrays extreme poverty and vulnerability. Now next is vulnerable and timid. She was vulnerable and timid ki karone hasile? She is described as a little creature. Ki bole তেওঁ describe kore? As a little creature who is frightened, scared and weak. Okay, her dazed state and eventual breakdown show the deep physical and emotional toll of her desperate circumstances. Okay, go back to the video, listen it properly again. I'm also repeating it again. Still, ekbar bhalke aru shuni lo and make sure you write it down. She is described as a little creature who is frightened, scared, and weak. Her dazed state and eventual breakdown shows the deep physical and emotional toll of her desperate circumstances. Then she has no inner monologue in the story, okay, emphasizing her role as a passive object of Rosemary's charity. Okay, she does not have a, yeah, I can use easy language to make you guys understand, but I am reciting the answer in a different language, in a little bit more what to say, a little bit more formal language, so that তোমালোকে answer to এক্সামত তেনেকে লিখা সেইটো কাৰণে মই এইটো লেংগুৱেজ ইউজ কৰি আছো তোমালোকৰ আগত আৰু এইটো লেংগুৱেজত যদি লিখা because it's not the normal English wala exam, right? This is alternative English, this is proper English, and I think you should use সেনেকুৱা টাইপৰ লেংগুৱেজ, অকমান বেছি হেভি লেংগুৱেজ ইউজ কৰিবা so that you guys can get good marks. That's why মই আনসাৰ খিনি এইটো লেংগুৱেজত তোমালোকৰ আগত কৈ আছো. I am not making you understand in this language to টান হয় মই জানো, but I'm just making sure that you write it down. মোৰ পৰা শুনি শুনি যাতে লিখি লোৱা so that সেই আনসাৰটো তোমালোকৰ লিখোতে হেবোৰ word use কৰিলে তোমালোকৰ কাৰণে ভাল হ'ব. And if you want to ask any doubt, it's okay, you can just type the chat once and I will be able to listen to you. Okay, I will be able to read what you have written in the chat, so there is no use to write it again and again. I will get to know about that. Okay, so this is Miss Smith for you all. My Smither answer to kolu, so make sure you have listened to the answer. Jone jone khuna na aru ekbar khunilo can make sure you write it down. Now let's get to the question number 4. Present your views on the food and flavors mentioned by Hajarika in the voyage. Etia teo ki flavors aru kihor kotha teo mention korisile. Okay, so in the voyage, Bhupen Hajarika uses food as a powerful tool of sensory imaginary and nostalgia. Karon food or difference asil no, teo jor pra goisile jole teo goise to tar majot food or difference ase, so he uses that. Okay, he uses the symbolism of the food to focus on, and he uses the food as a sensory imagery and nostalgia. Okay, he mentioned traditional Assamese items. Traditional items kita teo jikhini koi disile mention korisile ki asile, kolmo hak, which will be spelled as kolmo hak, then tenga, and almost every Assamese people love bamboo shoots. Okay, so the items that he mentioned were kolmo hak, tenga, and bamboo shoots. These will be the spelling for those. So egita food item teo mention korisile. Kyo korisile? These flavors, okay, these flavors represent his deep cultural roots. These flavors represent his deep cultural roots and warmth of his homeland, Assam. Again, repeating, noted down, these flavors represent his deep cultural roots and warmth of his homeland, Assam. The mention of kolmo hak specifies specifically highlights his longing for home while traveling abroad in places like Sri Lanka, where such familiar tastes were unavailable. The food acts as a medium of connection, reflecting how local cuisines carry the identity and hospitality of a community, making his travel narrative more immersive and emotionally resonant. Okay? যদি লাইনটো ক্যাচ কৰা নাই ভিডিওটোত আকৌ অলপমান আগুৱাই যোৱা and make sure you listen to the answer properly and note the answer properly. Okay? নোট কৰি ল'বা কি কি তেওঁ কিহৰ মেনশন কৰিছিলে কলমৌ শাক টেঙ্গা and bamboo shoots কিয় কৰিছিলে because these food had a sense of nostalgia তেওঁ ঘৰলৈ মিস কৰি আছিলে he was missing his homeland. Therefore, he mentioned these karon foreign landot, for example, Sri Lanka, teo enukwa dhoronor jitu heri thake, jiblak flavors thake, he flavors bur teo napai. That's why he mentioned them. Okay, this was the 5 marks question for you all. Sarita question dia ase, sarita question ami solve korisu, and you just have to write any two of them, whichever is comfortable for you. Write that, note this down so that যদি যিকোনো দুটা ইয়াৰ পৰা যদি বাইলাক যদি কেনেবাকে যদি হেৰি হৈ যায় কেনেবাকে ৰিপিট হৈ যায় then it will be helpful for you all, or otherwise tomorrow I will be doing another class of 1 or 2 hours maybe আৰু এটা class মই কৰাম where I will be giving common questions for all the prose chapters, all the poetry chapters, grammar, and even some common topics for essay that may come for your exam. So যেতিয়া পঢ়ি থাকিবা while studying, take a break from your books for just 1 hour maybe, attend my class and you guys may have a good help. হেতুত বস্তু তোমালোকৰ হেল্প হৈ যাব পাৰে, so তাতে জয়েন কৰিবা and তাতে মই কালি গুটেই গিটা যিমান prose chapters আছে যিমান poetry chapters আছে গুটেখিনিৰ বিষয়ে মই কম, গুটেই গিটাৰ পৰা মই এটা কৰি পেলাই common questions মই উলিয়াই দিম which may come. Because আমি যেটো ইংলিশৰ কাৰণে কৰিছিল ইংলিশৰ কাৰণে যত মই কমন কোৱেশ্চনস দিছিলো তাৰ পৰা আমাৰ এক্সামত কমন কোৱেশ্চনস আহিছে which I am very happy about. So যদি alternative english to আহি যায় then where is the what to say harm, ভালে আমাৰ কাৰণে ভাল যদি আমি কমন কোৱেশ্চনস পাই যাও, right? So now let's get to the next section which is explain with reference কৰিব দিছে তাতে এতিয়া আমাক দিয়া হৈছে দুটা question আমাক দিছে explain with reference to context of any one of the following. এটো যিকোনো এটাৰ পৰা আহি যাব পাৰে দে, যিকোনো prose পৰা আহিব পাৰে, poetry পৰা নাহে বুলি নকও কিন্তু poetry পৰা সহজে নাহে হা 10 marksৰ এটো যেটো এটা question আহে poetry পৰা পটককে নাহে, so এটো হেৰিয়াৰ পৰা আহিব prose পৰা আহিব. ইয়াত আমাৰ হাতত এটা দুটা question আছে. First is Rama watched the unfolding of contemporary history through the shouts of the newsboys and in due course tried to return to his corner. Now the line is taken prothom kotha jehetu 10 marks or hoy prothomote ami likhi lobo lagibo je ei line to kuntu chapter or hoy kor pora ahise he introduction to ami likhiboi lagibo. So this line is taken from the short story The Mattress Corner, right? Tarpa ami janu Rama tare hoy, and written by kone likhisile, written by R.K. Narayan. It describes the protagonist, a successful street food vendor who was Rama, a successful street food vendor whose life is unpended by the political riot. Okay, hi new subscriber, if you have any doubt or if you are appearing for the exams, let me know. Okay, so I will recite this answer. Moi potapot ei answer to tumalokor agot moi pohi diu, tumaloke shuniba, shuni try to note it down. so that tar pra hetu pohi thakile at least kiba duta man point jodi monot thaki jay it will be easier for you jodi etu question repeat hoy jay kenebake it will be a help for you. So a question a jitu line to dise tar explanation to ki hoy the unfolding of contemporary history ki bujaise refers to a violent political riot that breaks out in the city. Rama, who usually spends his days peacefully selling snacks at his favorite corner, is forced to stay away due to the chaos created because of the riot. Okay, he stayed informed about the escalating violence and political shifts by listening to the headlines shouted by passing news boys. যেহেতু তেওঁ থকা কৰ্নাৰটোতে গোটে ৰাইটটো হৈ আছিল আমাৰ ইয়াতো আমি যেনেকৈ দেখা পাওঁ কৰবাত কিবা এটা হলে নিউজ ডাইৰেক্ট তাতে আহিয়ে যায় স্পটৰ নিউজ আহিয়ে যায় তেনেকৈ যেহেতু ইয়াৰ কৰ্নাৰটোৰ ওচৰতে ৰাইটটো হৈছিল তাতে নিউজ আহি আছে আৰু সেই নিউজ খিনি যি ৰিপৰ্টাৰ খিনি চিঞৰি যিখিনি কৈ আছিলে সেইখিনি শুনি তেওঁ গম পাই গল যে কি হৈ আছে ভায়োলেন্সটো বাঢ়ি গৈ আছে কমি গৈ আছে কি হৈ আছে সেইখিনি তেওঁ হে নিউজৰ মানুহকিজনৰ পৰা গম পাই আছিল আৰু ইয়াৰে এটা সিগনিফিকেন্সটো কি হয় সিগনিফিকেন্সটো ক'ব লাগিব অকলতে এক্সপ্লেইন কৰি থলে নহব অকল এক্সপ্লেইন কৰি থলে আমাক ইয়াতে ইমান মাৰ্কস নিদিয়ে 5 মাৰ্কস আমাক নিদিয়ে অকল এক্সপ্লেইন কৰি থলে সো ইয়াতে এক্সপ্লেনেশনটো দিলু নাও সিগনিফিকেন্সটো কি the exact highlights Rama's detachment from politics to him. The extract highlights Rama's detachment from politics to him. These major historical events are merely disruptions to his daily routine because he does not care about whatever is happening in the political field. He does not care about it. The only thing he is concerned because of the riot it's disturbing his daily routine, right? Okay, now as a teacher I won't suggest you to skip any of the proses or the poetry because প্ৰত্যেকটো poetry পঢ়া questions আহে so I am not telling যে এটো skip কৰা হেটো skip কৰা মই নকম but if you are confused আৰু যদি তুমি skip কৰিছা এটা বস্তু মই suggest কৰিম কালি আৰু এটা ক্লাস মই কৰাম okay কালি আৰু এটা ক্লাস মই same timing almost কৰাম সেই ক্লাসটো পাৰিলে attend কৰা অলপ কিতাবৰ পৰা উলাই মেলি attend কৰা যোনটোত মই প্ৰত্যেকটো চ্যাপ্টাৰ যিমান কিটা prose আছে যিমান কিটা poetry আছে তাৰ পৰা important points কিটা মই note down কৰি দিম আৰু দুটা এটা মই probable questions দুটা এটা নহয় বেছিকৈ দিম probable questions দি দিম যাতে তোমালোকে গুটেখিনি নপঢ়িলো হেগিটা পঢ়িলো অকমান হেল্প হৈ যায় ঠিক আছে গুটেকিটা prose গুটেকিটা poetry পৰা even grammar পৰাও মই probable questions কালি দিম common questions যিবোৰ আহি আছে ইমান দিনে এই questions খিনি মই note down কৰি দিম তোমালোকৰ কাৰণে so যদি তোমাৰ গুটেখিনি পঢ়োতে confusion লাগি আছে I will suggest you attend kora class to it will help you write down the important points jate he chapter to pora jikunu eta question ahilo tumi attempt koriba para and marks tumar waste na jay okay now let's come to the first question to amar hol second question to dahu I drew the remaining drink with my last sip and keeping the bottle at the counter answerless I kept looking within its emptiness for a long time. Now, this extract was from the travelogue. Bhupen Hazarikar. Dr. Bhupen Hazarikar travelogue or pora etu lua hoisile. Okay, Dr. Bhupen Hazarikar devor jitu travelogue kon the voyage tar pora a line to lua hoise. Now, yar line to explanation to mo koi goi asu. শুনিবা শুনি পেলাই পাৰিলে লিখি লবা okay you're most welcome now the explanation for this line is in the I okay the I in this lines is the author himself কোন হয় হেতু লিখিব লাগিব the author himself he is reflecting on a moment of deep contemplation and perhaps a sense of melancholy or a search for meaning during his travel. Okay, ki bujaise? In the author, he is reflecting on a moment of deep contemplation and perhaps a sense of melancholy or a search for meaning during his travels. The act of staring into the emptiness. Act of staring into the emptiness of an empty bottle symbolizes. Ki symbolize korise emptiness to it? Symbolizes a moment of introspection, a moment of introspection where he finds himself without answering to a larger questions of life, identity or the experiences he is undergoing. ठीक है? Now significance to की है? It captures a quiet, vulnerable moment of the traveler. The physical emptiness of the bottle mirrors an internal state of seeking or a temporary void. It shows that despite his vast travels and successes, there are moments of profound silence and unanswered questions that define the human experiences. Now, এতিয়া যিখিনি মই কৈ আছো যত মই অলপ ডাঙৰ ডাঙৰ ৱৰ্ড ইউজ কৰিছো that is only for the question মই বুজাবৰ কাৰণে or just to explain মই ইমান ডাঙৰ ডাঙৰকে কোৱা নাই or I'm not using this language. If you want to get a like an explanation eta normal কি বুলি কয় এটা নৰ্মেল হেৰিয়াত যদি এক্সপ্লেনেশ্যন এটা লাগে নৰ্মেল যদি ল্যাঙ্গুৱেজত এক্সপ্লেনেশ্যন লাগে দেন মই হেতু কালি ক্লাছটোত কৰাম সো দ্যাট প্ৰত্যেকটো চ্যাপ্টাৰৰ এটা অকমানিকে মই এক্সপ্লেনেশ্যন দি দিম নৰ্মেল কমন ল্যাঙ্গুৱেজত সো দ্যাট এটো তোমালোকৰ কাৰণে হেল্প হয়. Now let's get to the word meanings আহে. Now word meaning বিলাক ন প্ৰত্যেকটো prose আৰু poetry তলৰ word meaning দিয়া আছে. So best is word meaning যিখিনি দি থোৱা আছে already bookত সেইখিনি তোমালোকে ধুনিয়াকে list এখন বনাই লোৱা লিখি লোৱা common word meanings কি আহিব পাৰে হেতু মই কালি দিয়ে দিম বাৰু. Anyways ধুনিয়াকে list টাইপত বনাই লোৱা আৰু মুখস্থ do it ভাল easy হৈ যাব. Now first আমাৰ ইয়াতে কি আছে clamour word to দিছে. clamour word to হৈ গল a loud and confused noise. Okay, loud and confused noise, especially that the people shouting vehemently nelikhila but loud and confused voice of people shouting boli dibo para. Then ahi gol answer ki ase a passage between rows of seats in a building such as a church or theater. Okay, I'll to yare ki hobo a passage between rows of যেটো মাজারে যেটো জায়গা থাকে বেসিক্যালি যোনফালে দি আমি আহা যা কৰো রাইট হেতুয়ে হয় yeah sure কালিৰ ক্লাছত ডেফিনেটলি মই এসেৰ কাৰণে কমে আজিৰ ক্লাছটো মই দুটামান কৈয়ে দিম দেই যিকিটা মানে লাষ্টলৈকে চাই থাকিবা মই দুটামান প্ৰবেবল এসে টপিক আজিৰটো মই দিয়ে দিম আজিৰ ক্লাছটো মই দি দিম কালি ক্লাছটো মই দিমে ফৰ শিওর কালি ক্লাছটো মই এসেৰ কাৰণে দিমে বিকজ এসেজ আৰ ভেৰি আনপ্ৰেডিক্টেবল কি টাইপ আহে কি টাইপ নাহে সো মই ডিফারেন্ট টাইপস অফ এসে টপিক কৈ দিম কালি Then comes cavern. Cavern asile a large cave or a chamber in a cave. Large cave or a chamber in a cave. Stagger to walk or more steadily. More bole. Walk or move unsteadily. As a Baba to phone. Okay. Egita মই জাস্ট দি দিছো যদি কোনোবাই বুজি পোৱা নাই obviously মোৰ হ্যান্ডৰাইটিং খেলিমেলি লিখিছো বাট অলপ at least বুজি পাবও পাৰা so you can like just click a screenshot okay এটা screenshot লৈ লোৱা after that I will be erasing this বাকি কিটা কৰিব কাৰণে so যদি নাই লিখা then take a screenshot of this one okay now let's go to question number 2 write antonyms ইয়াত আমাক word meanings দিলে then antonyms দিছে then synonyms দিছে antonyms মানে কি opposite antonyms মানে হৈ গল এটা word or opposite word is known as the antonym now daskor কি হয় daskor opposite is most of us know which is don DAWN then quiver or hall quiver মানে কপি থকা shakiness that is quiver so the antonym for quiver is stillness okay about the author অলপ পঢ়িলে ভাল কান কিছুমান chapter the author is himself the what to say the protagonist so if you learn about that বেয়া নহয় জানি থোৱাটো ভাল কাৰণ যেতিয়া কোৱেশ্চনছ বিলাকত খুদিব যে এইটোৰ পৰা অথৰে কি বুজাইছে তেতিয়া ইমানখিনি জানিব লাগিব যে হে অথৰ জনৰ ৰাইটিংছ বিলাক কি কি টপিকত থাকে হেতু বস্তু জানিব লাগিব so now ইয়াতে আমাক synonyms দিছে synonyms means same sufficient or synonym হৈ যাব enough or you can also write or bole nilekho enough likhibo para or this will be better etu tumaloke adequate likhibo para I think it's better to write adequate than enough okay sufficient adequate likhibo para synonyms then glibor to most to fluent okay যিখিনি word meanings asile word meanings khini buji pala word meanings khini to moi diye disu আর word meanings বিলাক basically কিতাবত দিয়ে থোৱা থাকে but antonyms or synonyms কিতাবা নিদিয়ে পটককে so antonyms মানে যদি antonyms আহে তাৰ মানে আমি opposite words লিখিব লাগিব opposite word লিখিব লাগিব আৰু যদি synonyms আহে তেনে হলে same meaning থকা similar words লিখিব লাগিব synonym antonym confuse হৈ নাযাবা আকৌ synonyms ত বলে opposite লিখি দিল antonyms ত similar লিখি দিল goal marks so better write it down আৰু ইয়াৰেও মই কিছুমান কমন কালি দি দিম কালি ক্লাছত মই ইয়াৰেও কমন দি দিম যে এনেকুৱা wordৰ synonym antonyms আগতে আহিছে আৰু কেনেকুৱা টাইপৰ আহিব পাৰে okay this was section etu aru now let's get to the poetry section amar prose section to complete hoi goise prose ami kori dilu etia ami poetry falole ahisu now yate ase 1 mark or question gita name the poet of Ozymandias of Egypt Ozymandias or kun asile Percy Bysshe Shelley দিয়া আছে but still মই লিখি দিছো যাতে তোমালোকে পটককে বিচাৰি পাবা সেই কাৰণে মই লিখিয়ে দিছো Ozymandias asile. Then what do you understand by the word sweet music of speech? Sweet music of speech mane ki ase? Joy and comfort from human conversation. Human conversation or pora hua jitu that is known as sweet music of speech. What led to the scorpion to crawl beneath the sack of rice? Okay. 10 hours of steady rain. বৰষুণৰ কাৰণে হি সোমাইছিলেগে. Then কি আছিলে? What will purify the flesh and soul of the mother? কি আছিলে? The poison. The poison will purify. Okay. The poison will purify the flesh and soul. Then we paused before a house that seemed dash A of the ground. Fill in the blanks দিছে ইয়াতে swelling এটো কি হবো SWELLING swelling of the ground or swelling of the ground. While I stand on the roadway or on the pavement, I hear it in the deep hearts core. কি বুলি হব name the poem এটো কোনটো poem আছিলে Then speaker the stranger meeting. Who is the speaker? Speaker to kun hoy yate is a soldier. Then what does the speaker discover in the underwood? Ki discovers the enemy soldier. Enemy soldier discover korisile. So this is the 1 mark question for you guys. 1 mark question khini moi yate di disu june june buji poa nai june arjar ifal hoi goise. Make sure you take a screenshot or video tour agole jua video tour agole goi meli pela egita answer likhi thua so that jodi yar pra repeat questions ahe because egita chapter opai jehetu ahibo jodi repeat questions ahe it will be easy for you all to write it down. Now moving on to the next which is 2 marker question bilak pasta jenage amar prose section et ahisile poetry section eto same heriate ahibo 2 marker question kita moi koi disu ki asile what does the poet wish to why does the poet wish to stay at Innisfree kyo thakiba bisarise wishes to go there to find okay the poet wishes to stay there to find peace and tranquility he wants to escape the noise and chaos of urban life. Okay, why kyo tat jabo bisarise because he wants to escape the noise and the chaos of urban life and live a simple solitary life close to nature. Why? Because he wants to escape the noise and chaos of the urban life and live a simple solitary life close to nature. Then what led to the formation of a giant scorpion shadow to the walls of the speaker's hut. In Night of the Scorpion, the shadows were created by the peasants who came with lanterns and candles to help the family. যিকেইজন মানুহ আহিছিলে না এটো মই লিখি নিদিও কাৰ কাৰণে হৈছিলে who created কিয় হৈছিলে because of the peasants who came কি বুলি কৈছিলে এটো লগ হাতত lanterns and candles. এটা স্কৰপিয়নৰ হেইটো কি হৈ গৈছিলে কাৰণ যিকিজন পেজেন্টস আহিছিলে তেওঁলোকে যিবিলাক লাইট আনিছিলে লগত ল্যান্টাৰ্ন আনিছিলে ক্যান্ডেল আনিছিলে হেবিলাকৰ কাৰণে এই শ্যাডোটো ফৰ্ম হৈ গৈছিলে okay that their light cast the oversized shadow of the যেটো আসিলে peasants and their movement onto the mud walls. হা আনসারত পোয়েটৰ নাম মেনশন কৰিব লাগিব যোনবিলাক 5 মাৰ্কছৰ ডাঙৰ কোৱেশ্চনছ আছে 5 মাৰ্কছৰ ডাঙৰ কোৱেশ্চনছ বিলাক আছে তাত পোয়েটৰ নামটো বা 2 ইভেন 2 মাৰ্কছৰ কোৱেশ্চনছ বিলাকতো পোয়েটৰ নামটো বা অথৰৰ নামটো হেৰি কৰি দিয়াটো মেনশন কৰি দিলে ইটস বেটাৰ ফৰ ইউ অল তেতিয়া হেতু বেছি ভাল হয় ঠিক আছে ইফ ইউ ডু that will help then next question to ki ase amar what is the role of superstition in the poem Night of Scorpion bahut beshi dangor role ase superstition acts as a coping mechanism how superstition acts as a coping mechanism for the villagers they believe the scorpion sting is linked to karma the scorpion sting is linked to karma and past life okay linked to past life boli likhileo hobo using these beliefs to find meanings in suffering and to help the mother through rituals and prayer rather than medicines poetor makok je titia scorpion e kati mane kamurisile তেতিয়া তেওঁলোকে কি কৰিলে ভিলেজেস বিলাকে মানি ললে যে তেওঁ কিবা এটা পাস্ট লাইফত কিবা এটা ভুল কৰিছিলে বা এটো লাইফত ভুল কৰিছিলে যিটোৰ কাৰণে তেওঁ হেতু হৈ গল তাৰ পিছত তেওঁলোকে rather than giving her medications they involved her in different kinds of rituals okay rituals দি দিলে যিটোৰ কাৰণে তে হেই superstition টোৱে এই ভিলেজেস খিনিক এটা বান্ধত বান্ধি থৈছে then comes what are the poetic devices often used by Wilfred or in his poems hetu karne swa enekwa type of questions ahibo pare this question is totally related to the poet that's why poetor kotha janatu dorkar poete ki likhe kenekwa type or likhe janatu dorkar so that jodi enekwa type of question ahi jai kene bake and you are not able to skip it titia likhibo para that's why poetor kotha tu author kotha janatu dorkar now কি devices use করে device কি use করে paradigm use করে alliteration use করে then imagery use করে okay imagery use করে alliteration paradigm imagery egita use করে mainly alliteration and paradigm is used আৰু যদি তেওঁৰ বিষয়ে যদি পঢ়া যেটো সেকশনত পোয়েটৰ বিষয়ে দিয়া থাকে তাতো বস্তুকিটা দিয়ে থোৱা আছে so it will be easy for you what is the significance of the setting sun in the poem the setting sun symbolizes the end of the life cycle end of the life cycle bujai. Okay, setting sun symbolizes the end of the life cycle. Okay, then whose greatness is actually glorified in the poem Ozymandias of Egypt. Ozymandias of kar asile glorifies the greatness of the power of time and art. Power of time and art bujai. Okay, then what does the poet mean by Titanic Wars? Titanic Wars or পৰা কি বুজাইছে? Power of sinking fighter Titanic কি কৈছে once Titanic is describes the massive and destructive massive destructive scale of modern warfare etu bujai. Then how does self reflect upon the flight of the mind keneke bujaise reflects the power of imagination and memory. He reflects that even though his body is trapped in isolation, his mind can intentionally fly back to his home. Okay, this is the question, the 2 marks question for you all. June agor question jikita ma rub kodle hegita likha nai hegita aro ekbar go back, listen to my voice and write it down. So now let's move towards the 3 marks and 5 marks question. 5 marks question to hey to explanation or to ahibo 5 marks or karone. Aru 3 marks or karone amar duta ahise. 3 marks or karone at least 50 to 60 words or bhitorat likhile hol. What does What does wrinkled lips and sneer of cold command signify? Etu moi pohi disu akor nisinake pohi disu huni loba bhalke. You're most welcome. Anyways, more help yate shekh hua nai, kali ako class ase, kali class attend korle aro help paba aro aji class to complete kori loa. I think it will help you. Okay, what does this mean? In Percy Bailey Shelley's Ozymandias, this phrase signifies the arrogance, cruelty and pride of the king. Jijon king or statue to asile, teo wrinkled lips to re ki bujaise, looks to ki bujaise, je it signifies the arrogance, cruelty and pride of the king. It shows that Ozymandias was a heartless ruler who looked down upon his subjects. The sculptor's ability to capture these expressions on the stone suggests that the king's negative character traits have outlasted his actual power. Okay? June bhalke khuna nai, ako go back to the video and listen and write it down. Then comes next one, comment on the significance of the title of the poem because I could not stop for that. The title is significant because it personifies death. Because it personifies death. How? As a polite, patient, courageous driver rather than a terrifying specter. Sorry. It suggests that life is a journey and death is a natural, inevitable stop along the way. The word could not. The word could not implies that humans are often too busy with the affairs of life to think about mortality, so that kindly stops to collect them. Okay, this was question number 2 for you. Now let's get to question number 3. What message did Selkirk want to convey to his friends? Okay, so in this poem he wanted to convey his deep loneliness and longing for human companionship. His message is one of despair, expressing that even a small sign of friendship or a glance from a human eye would be more valuable to him than all the island's natural beauty. He wants that social interaction is vital for a human spirit. Then question number 4. Describe the conditions of the statue that the traveler comes across in a desert. Etu kor hoy Ozymandiasৰ হয় ডেজাৰ্টত কেনেকুৱা কণ্ডিশ্যনত আছিলে ভাঙা ফুটা কণ্ডিশ্যনত আছিলে অলপ অলপে আছিলে তাৰ বডি পাৰ্ট ভাগি আছিলে now the statue of Ozymandias is in a state of total ruin and decay কি আছিলে কণ্ডিশ্যনটো total ruin and decay the traveler sees two vast and trunkless legs of stone ভাঙি থোৱা আছিলে ওপৰৰ ডখৰ নাই অকল legs গিটা আছিলে standing in the desert with a shattered visage which is the face half buried in the sand nearby. Yeah, sure. I will be giving you repeated questions. Kintu ajir class to nidu because I will not give it in this class because in this class we are only solving the 2025 question paper which is the previous year question paper. We were solving it and in tomorrow's class make sure you take a break. It won't harm anyone, okay? Take a break for 1 or 2 hours and then attend my class. In that class I will be giving you common questions, repeated questions and also explaining each and every prose and poetry in 2 to 3 lines so that it gets in your brain and if any question from those prose or poetry comes you guys will be able to attempt that question. Okay, that was question number 4 for you all. Kenake asile piece bila kot bhangi asile duta bhori dekha paisile trunkless legs. Okay, describe everything. The condition was ruined and decayed. Then comes any one question for the questions jikono 5 marks or এতিয়া ইয়াতে মই যেটো কৈছিলো যেনেকে প্ৰজত কৈছিলো অকল এক্সপ্লেনেশন তো দিলে নহব যেহেতু বেছি মার্কসৰ কোৱেশ্চন হয় ন 5 মার্কসৰ হয় এটা ধুনিয়াকে অকল সৰুকে এটা হেৰি এটা লিখি দিব লাগিব মানে এটা ইন্ট্ৰোডাকশন টাইপ এটা লিখি দিব লাগিব অলপমানকে তো ফৰ দা ফাৰ্স্ট ওয়ান explain with reference to the context or মতে যদি যাও then these are the final lines of Wilfred Owen's poem. Eta poem bilakor jibilak poetor naam bilak jani thole kintu bhal likhile tate marks besi thake etu kor asile the strange meeting or asile spoken by the strange friend the enemy soldiers whom the narrator had killed the previous day. Explanation for this one: the speaker is describing his attempt to defeat himself in battle. His lute and cold hands suggest his reluctance to kill and the physical numbness of death. The final plea, let us sleep now. The final plea, let us sleep now, is deeply poignant in it signifies that in the afterlife, the enemy of war is the enmity of war is over. These soldiers are no longer enemies but fellow victims of the petty war, finally finding a grim peace in eternal sleep. That was question number 1 for you all. Now let's go to question number 2. Does the poem The Lake also in Innisfree celebrate the theme of escapism? Explain. Yes, this poem celebrates the theme of escapism. Keneke? Yeah, the poet expresses a deep-seated desire to flee from the pavement's grave and the noise of the urban life. Okay. Then the reasoning to Kiri said the poet creates a vivid mental sanctuary, which is this one. It is free, where he can live a simple, self-sufficient life in a small cabin of clay and wetless. This yearning in is not just for a physical place, but for inner peace and a return to nature. He speaks to escape modern anxiety by listening to the lake waters lapping in his heart, showing that the imagination serves as a powerful escape from reality. So, escapism date khumai ase. Teo jetu reality pora escape kori teo imaginary world dot khumai ase. In hetu hisapot teo tate asile. Then, question number 3, let's do it quickly. What does the poem Knight of Scorpion say about mother? Ki bujaise? Makor bikhoye? The mothers as a symbol of selfless, unconditional love and sacrifice. The mother is a symbol of selfless, unconditional love and sacrifice. Unconditional love and sacrifice. While the father tries every medical and superstitious remedy and the villagers offer religious prayers, the mother suffers in silent agony for 20 hours. Okay? The most powerful message comes in the final lines. After the pain finally subsides, her first thought is not for her own suffering, but gratitude. Thank God the scorpion picked on me and spared my children. She is so selfless that even after this suffering, she's praying to God that thank you God for giving me this suffering rather than giving it to my family. So এনেকুৱাকে বঢ়াই মেলি ধুনিয়াকে লিখিলে 5 marks পাবা, at least 4 to পায়ে যাবা ধুনিয়াকে. So এখিনি আছিলে ডাঙৰ questions খিনি. Now আকৌ ইয়াতো আছে আমাৰ antonym synonym questions খিনি আমাৰ ইয়াতো আছে. তো solitude কি হয়? State of being alone বুলি দিছো হা. ইয়াৰে ভালকে যেটো মিনিং তো ধুনিয়াকে টেক্সট বুকত দিয়ে থোৱা আছে চাবা ভালকে. Still মই ইয়াতে লিখি দিছো অলপমানকে so that তোমালোকে নিবিচাৰিলেও পায়ে যাবা. Affliction কি হয়? Cause of great suffering, distress, pain. Great suffering. Showing irritation. Irritation by a gloomy silence. Irritation or ill humor by a gloomy silence. Then I have citadels ki hall fortress. foot races. Then antonym দিছে which means different, আৰু synonyms দিছে যাৰ মানে হল similar. এটা antonyms. Haste or antonym হল slowness or delay. Then desolator হৈ গল cheerful or populated. For synonyms পটাপট লিখি দিও. Leisure is spare time, free time, spare time. Free time বুলি নালাগে লিখিব, spare time বুলি লিখিলে হল. Free time is not appropriate, and the spare is hit. Okay, this is the word meanings, antonyms and synonym for you all. Now etu screenshot loi lua, those who have not taken it, and please make sure you study the word meanings given in your textbook. So now let's get to the next, which is grammar. Finally we are towards the end of the question paper. Amar question paper khatam hobo hoi goise. Now let's get to the question tags. Okay, Ruby is coming tomorrow. Question tag to hobo agents see question mark. Question tag question mark dibo napahoriba. He speaks French well, doesn't he? I am late, aren't I? And I am I likhi nidiba aru am I hoy gole to question tag no hobo, hetu mane ulta interrogate kora nisna hobo. Aren't I hole bostu logot mili thakiba. You should have done this, shouldn't you? Please ask the boys to come in. Will you? Now yate akol pasta likhibo dise, yat gute gita bole easy ase, sob janilu bole sob likhi nidiba. That will be a huge waste of time. Please don't waste your time. Yate ma gute gita solve kori disu so that it becomes easier for you all to solve it in the questions. Okay, now don't go there. Will you? Question tag question mark dibai, or else bostu to heri hoi jabo. No book is allowed, is it? She seldom come here, do you? You seldom come here, do you? Okay, if you guys have not written it down, jodi copy likhi thwa nai, click a screenshot, at least practice kora enukwa ke question tags lagabo karone shuddho ke, and that will help you. Anyways, kalir jitu class kora moi, kalir class tut moi question tags oru probable questions moi at least 5 6 ta 7 ta 8 ta moi diye dim. So jodi tumaloke kora attend kalir class, so that will be really helpful for you guys. Moi ako koi asu, bare bare koi asu. Anyways, etu class on moi eta ami ekhini 2025 or kini solve korilu. Those who have not written it down, take a screenshot. Etia yate ase ekhini hoy gol, correct the errors in the sentences and rewrite them. Yate eta jikono dhoronor hobo pare, korbat bole grammar bhul hoy ase, korbat kiba bhul hoy ase, yate jikono tumalokok dibo sentence. Aru sobotse interesting kotha ase je yar bitorot shuddho sentence o thakibo pare, je sentence to olopo bhule nahoy, tetiao sentence to jeneke ase teneke likhi diba. I cannot continue my study anymore. Here yate study to hoi jabo studies. Okay, I cannot continue my studies anymore. She likes vegetable, so vegetable likes dise to vegetable to retut s ahi jabo, which is plural hoi jabo. His wonder knew no bound nohoy, bounds hobo, bonds hobo. Every boy and every girl are present today. Every girl and every boy is present today. Then Mr. Bose, accompanied by his wife and children, was present hobo. Kyo? Karon ete Mr. Boseor kotha koi ase to gute gitar kotha egalage koa nai. He was present asile, so singular hoy ase, that's why was present there hobo. Then he has 5 brother-in-law নহয় ইয়াতে brothers-in-law হব কাৰণ পাঁচজন আছে না plural আছে so brothers-in-laws laws to laws নহয় law হব law to law থাকিব যেটো plural ৰ কাৰণে যেটো আহিব হেতু ইয়াত লাগি যাব fire broke out in our flat ইয়াত আহি যাব আগত a fire okay a fire broke out in our flat I wish I were him no I wish I were he okay this is correction ekdom koru koru mistake thakibo bhalke pohi jaba question to koru mistake dekhisa s or heri ase yate okol s or karone so koru heri thakibo moi jodiu kali aru examples moi di dim je kenuka type or ahiba pare still try koriba keteba khudha question jo di die yar majote aru keteba enukwa ke die ekdom koru so make sure you read everything properly then ahi gol yet choose any one of the topic listed aru essay writing or karne ji kono topic tumalukor yat dibo pare for example jodi ami sao yate bole women empire moi gutte gita yate moi solve kori nidu because topics bilak ase ei topic or upor tumaloke likhiba pariba olop but moi example eta di diu je keneko type ot likhile bhal hoy thik ase first of all tinta bhagot bhogaba এখন এসে তিনটা ভাগত ভগাবা ঠিক আছে এসেখন লিখোতে তিনটা ভাগত ভগালে বাৰু এসেখনত চাবা এসে আৰু কম্প্ৰিহেনশন মিলি আছে দ্যাট মিন্স এখন এসে 10 মার্কস কে আছে এনেকে ভগাই লবা বডিটোত সবতকে হাইয়েস্ট মার্কস থাকে এটা প্ৰথমতে ইন্ট্ৰোটোত কি কৰি লবা ইন্ট্ৰোটোত যেটো টপিক দিয়া আছে ডিফাইন কৰিবা ঠিক আছে ডিফাইন কৰি চাবা ফৰ এক্সাম্পল এম্পায়াৰমেন্ট উইমেন এম্পায়াৰৰ যেটো আছে হেতু যে এবিলিটি কি হয় কি কৰিলে উইমেন এম্পায়াৰমেন্ট হয় কি হয় what is women empowerment কি এক্সেস থাকে হেবিলা কোবা দেন ইয়াতে কিছুমান বডিত কি পইণ্টস বোৰ দিবা বডিটোত কি পইণ্টস বোৰ দিবা কেনেকুৱাকে দিবা ফৰ এক্সাম্পল women empowermentor কাৰণে আমি কি কৰিব লাগিব জেন্ডাৰ স্টেৰিঅটাইপস বিলাক ভাঙিব লাগিব দেন আহি গল আমাৰ এডুকেশনাল আৰু এডুকেশনাল এন্ড ইকোনমিক ইন্ডিপেন্ডেন্স অফ উইমেন আহি গল হৈ গল দেন আহি যাব গভৰ্নমেন্টে কি ইনিশিয়েটিভ লৈছে লিগ্যাল একশনস কি লোৱা হৈছে ফৰ মানে হেৰি কি বুলি কয় উইমেন এম্পাৱাৰমেন্টৰ কাৰণে কেনেকুৱা টাইপত at least 10 মার্কসৰ কোৱেশ্চন হয় at least 6 to 7 points at least 6 to 7 points লিখিবই লাগিব point wise নিলিখিবা point wise মনত ৰাখিবা point wise নিলিখিবা বস্তুটো খালি হেৰি টাইপত কৰি লবা মানে তোমাৰ point wise লিখি মনত ৰাখি লবা যেতিয়া মেইনলি লিখিবা তেতিয়া paragraph wise বস্তুটো paragraph কৰি লবা okay then comes ahi gol global ki boli koy conclusion to ahi jaba conclusion to ki add koriba conclusion to add koriba dhorila tumar views bilak je women empowerment hobo lage women empowerment kyo hobo lage ki hole bhal hoy women empowerment kenake hole bhal hobo yar pora ki benefits hobo women or life kenake bhal hobo kenekwa type or tumar suggestions bilak bilak diba conclusion to so that bostutu mane kenekwa hoy jane complete nisna hobo jodi tumi essay kon conclude nokora your essay will remain incomplete to essay kon jetia tumi complete koriba dhunia ke conclusion eta diba jetia essay kon proper ekhon essay hobo yat amar knowledge is power global warming my dreams sob dhornor ete amar heri ase gute khini karone for example jodi ami knowledge is power likhun titia hole knowledge hole ami problem solving capacities amar thake tar pisot tools against superstition fears ami knowledge jeti ami kiba ta bostur bikhoy janu ei bostu ghotona to ghotile amar bhoy na lage so hebilak ami points likhiba paru roles information of technology modern area technology keneke amar knowledge ota help kori ase hebur likhiba paru then global warming aru future mankind or karoneo global warming or effects bilak deforestation or karone hoise tar pisot global warming karone climate change hoise ki hoise hebilak bostu কি কাৰণে হৈছে fuel বেছি ইউজ কৰাৰ কাৰণে হৈছে দেন আমি সাস্টেইনেবিলিটি আনিব লাগে সেইবিলাক বস্তু লিখিব পাৰো my dreams of holiday destination এইটোতো সবৰে নিজৰ নিজৰ ফেভাৰিট এটা ডেস্টিনেশন থাকে লিখিবা ডেস্টিনেশনটো মানে এতিয়া কেনেকুৱা ধৰণৰ হ'ব লাগে কোনটো জায়গা তোমাৰ যাব মন আছে জায়গাটোত কি বস্তু তোমাৰ ভাল লাগে কি কৰিম বুলি ভাবিছা যে বুলি জায়গাটোত গলে মই এখিনি বস্তু কৰিম কেনেকুৱা টাইপত লিখিবা ইজি এটোতো বহুত ইজি টপিক হয় my dream holiday destination is a very easy topic for 10 marks ধুনিয়াকে লিখিব পাৰিবা কি কৰিব বিচাৰিছা কি কৰিব বিচাৰা নাই জায়গাটোৰ কি ভাল লাগে কেনেকে যাম ভাবিছা কাৰ লগত যাম ভাবিছা সব লিখি দিবা then you will definitely get marks okay so this was for today's class guys congratulations we have solved the 2025 question paper for alternative english yate ami gute question paper khon solve korisu from prose to poetry to grammar gute khini essays yar bisot comprehension eta thake ei essay khonor bisot comprehension ase comprehension to moi kali class to dekham etia dekhai dia nai kyo dekhwa nai because comprehension every year beleg ahe and comprehension pra 2 marks or pasta question ahibo for 10 marks okay aru comprehension kon nije pohiba jitia bhalke titia tumaloke answer koriboi pariba so there is no problem for that okay then this was for today's class and those who are attending today's class thank you first of all I hope it will tumalokok help koribo and the most important thing is tomorrow's class in tomorrow's class we will be clearing the doubts of each and every prose each and every poem the important questions or probable questions from each and every prose each and every poetry even grammar even essay everything formats and all everything gute khini kali class ot ako koram so that gute gijon student jone jone aji sai asa tumaloke jate exam ot at least question gute khini attempt kori ahibo para that is my goal aru mo probable questions o di dim aru ami jeneke englishor karone probable questions disilu henukwa questions amar exam ot ahise hetu birat bhal lagise mur henukwa type ot jate alternative english to aru questions ahi jay that is my main goal and I hope today's class helps you and tomorrow's class I definitely ensure you that it will help you so for that see you for today I hope you guys are studying well kali ako log pam aru eta notun video loi mili till then thank you